Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned. Albino ranks every boss in Star Wars Jedi Survivor from easiest to hardest. This one's going to be a little weird because I played the first half of the game on Grandmaster, the hardest difficulty, and the other half on the second hardest difficulty after I got sick of getting one-shot by charging chickens and almost every other species of wildlife too. Did you know if you force pull one of those bramble creatures and hold it for too long, you just die instantly for fun? This game is neat. Anyway, because of that, some of the rankings might be skewed a bit in terms of what difficulty I was on when I beat it, but I'm still going to try to be fair out here. Also, major story spoilers if you haven't finished the game, which is likely because I've been sleeping 3 hours a night since it came out. Some bosses are grouped together, some bounty hunter encounters were too samey to mention. Let's just get after it, filler. Number 33, Rick the Door Technician. This guy's got a heart of gold, you gotta give him that. I feel inspired to put my all into anything I do for at least a couple minutes before it quickly fades. I have never seen confidence so thoroughly misplaced in all my days. A solitary stormtrooper grunt so devoted to his cause that he'll run down a full-length hallway to take on a damn Jedi. That's so much time to rethink the decision you're making, and yet he goes the distance undeterred, unerring in his steadfast resolve to bring glory to the Empire. Then he gets one shot. He must have been playing on Grandmaster difficulty too. Number 32, E3VE3. Respawn decided that every enemy in the game needed to also be a boss at some point, so here we are. A frail turret surrounded by frailer droids. The crossguard stance's deflection blasts make short work of its shield, and from there it gets cut like paper. Laying in a scrap heap on the floor reminds me of RE3. Number 31, K405. The first boss of the game, K405 is a basic droid that punches and grabs like a handsy pugilist, but pretty slow and without doing enough damage to be a real threat. Although it did kill me once because Grandmaster parry timing is hard when you first start out and for the rest of the game. Number 30, Joe the Cannibal. After being hyped up as the final boss of the Haxian Brood Bounty Hunter Country Club, Joe the Cannibal just stands there while you lure her underlings away to slay them while she watches. Then when it's just her left, she continues to just stand there and attack so infrequently I thought her controller kept getting disconnected. They repurpose a whole area for this encounter and that's all you're gonna give me? She looks like a refrigerator and is equally dangerous. Number 29, the Mire Terror. This fight seems ridiculous at first if you're on a harder difficulty because these dudes do mega damage and are a threat by themselves, but you can actually use the Force to confuse the one that isn't the boss into attacking the boss, and then just watch them take turns fighting each other like a Ditto in Pokemon. If it looks like the boss is ahead in HP, you can get behind him and give him a few slashes to keep things competitive, and it should only take a couple instances of confusion to get them both down to one-shot territory if you've invested in the skill tree at all. Number 28, ATST. Don't do what I do in this battle. Whenever I see one of these for the first time in a Star Wars Jedi game, I hang back and just reflect shots till it dies, but that takes a while, so you should by all means get under its feetsies and do some toenail clipping action, backing off whenever the concussion bombs get dropped. Reflecting can also be annoying because oftentimes it'll just whiff the first bullet in its 2-round burst, so instead of getting the timing right to deflect that one, you'll just deflect the second bullet in a random direction and get nowhere. Number 27, Zeke. The third boss of the game, this is the first boss that really feels like it's going to prepare you for the future, since the Ninth Sister has a unique fighting style that isn't replicated, and this dude becomes a normal enemy you'll kill hundreds of. This is a good time to talk about stances. I use the dual-wield stance almost exclusively for one-on-one bosses because it's the only stance that lets you attack cancel during any part of the animation. So if you take a swing, but you can tell the opponent's about to armor through it with their attack, you can parry out of it instead and keep things going. I'm still pretty passive in this footage, but you should be mashing on people's guard at all times with this stance, waiting for them to parry and try to counterattack you, then you parry the counterattack or dodge if it's an unblockable, and then you go back to mashing. Rinse and repeat, just overwhelm them with brainless spam until they get staggered, and then spam some more. Number 26, the Ninth Sister. Didn't we kill her last game? I definitely remember beating some orange dinosaur ass. This fight tricks you into thinking that Grandmaster difficulty is going to be as easy as it was in Fallen Order because the Ninth Sister doesn't do much damage and her unblockables are slow and super telegraphed. Then you run into your first Yeti while exploring Kobo, get hit once at full health and go, oh, I've been killed. Number 25, Taglaish. In this fight, I tried out Blaster's stance to see if it was worth a damn, and it was interesting, but I wouldn't say good. There's something to be said about the added pressure you can apply if you throw in a couple blaster shots in between sword swings on an opponent's guard, and I wonder if unlocking the stun shot with bounty hunter pucks makes it really useful, but I was in a closed open relationship with dual wield and crossguard by the time I got around to locating bounty hunters. Tag is nothing special, just swings his saber around sometimes. Also, he chose blue for the color. Lame. Number 24, Garako Matriarch. I didn't fight this thing until way endgame, but since you never increase your offensive power, it doesn't matter too much in terms of being OP, although I had also changed my difficulty by this point. The difference between Jedi Master and Jedi Grandmaster is night and day, by the way. Grandmaster is straight horseshit half the time, and Master feels like easy mode in comparison. Even just increasing the parry window by a little bit, like it does, is an absolute game changer, and it feels like you take about half damage. It's such a huge gap, it's weird. I'll talk about it more later when we get to the boss that actually made me make the switch. Number 23, Vile Bilemaw. Damn, Sarah from the Land Before Time really let herself go. I think its bite attacks are kinda sudden and tough to parry, but other than that, you get a big opening if you force push it when it's trying to roll over you, so it's easy to exploit, and if it spits any rocks, you can send them right back for extra damage. Number 22, Frenzied yeaaaaaaah. I remember this guy being a phantom menace in the first game on Grandmaster. Here on Master, it's easier, but he can still lay you out while you're relearning his patterns. This is a callback nobody needed. Nobody's like, oh my god, I hope they bring back Frenzied yeaaaaaaah. He was my fave. Number 21, Single Bounty Hunters. This is an all-encompassing slot for any solo bounty hunters who ambush you in whatever location, whether they're flying, shielding, shooting, or brawling. May and Core, Courage Limb, Kip O-Star, and other made-up nonsense names go on this list, along with Mash because you can bait the shield dude out and deal with him early without fighting the fridge droid. Bounty hunters get crossguard stanced on, almost every time, especially in groups, because if you're taking shots while trying to fight someone, the crossguard reflections will stagger them and do way more damage, plus AoE, giving you more breathing room. Crossguard also neuters and spays bounty hunter block meter, but it's slow and unwieldy at times, so try to incorporate some quick jump attacks in there. It's actually faster, and you can put it into any hit of the combo to attack in a speedier motion if you do the input fast enough. Number 20, Dryathorn / Vashton Wolf. These fights aren't related, but they are identical. Dryathorn is the one you beat to get crossguard, and Vashton Wolf is the guy taunting you from behind that locked door in the tunnel on Kobo, begging you to open that chest you can't unlock until you come back with BD-1's electric charge shot. Then he decides to try to kill you and take the loot, which I believe was a pair of pants or something, so he must be really desperate. This style of raider boss is one of the harder ones because they're very nimble and they can cloak themselves and lose your lock-on, but they go down like anyone else. Number 19, Mads, Gresh, and Sanderson. Sanderson? What's up? My name is P. Turson. A multi-boss fight is always cause for pause, but with Bode here still pretending to be on our side, it's pretty much just a 1v1 until it becomes a 2v1 against the guy he's keeping occupied. Number 18, Dagon Gera 1. There's no way I'm getting owned by a dude with one arm. This guy's using blaster stance without the blaster. I'm still on Grandmaster here, and it's actually not too bad, but you can definitely die if you make a couple mistakes while gloating about the superior number of arms you have. Maybe I'm a plot cynic, but whenever a character gets introduced, I'm like, alright, when are they gonna betray me? And I did not have to wait long for this one, because he comes right out of the tank swinging. Fights like these, dual-wield stance spam all the way. Parry or dodge his impending counterattacks, sometimes multiple hits in a row, and then back to spam like we talked about. Number 17, Skriton. I actually think this can be kinda tough. This thing's telegraphs aren't super apparent. It has some quick jerky motions with its claws, but luckily Mommy Marin is here to pin it in place for a couple hits whenever her meter's full. Number 16, Reprogrammed Magna Guard. The only difference I see between this boss and the regular Magna Guard is that this one is programmed to have its head cut off sooner, at which point it starts doing some long combo strings so you can't get antsy. He doesn't do a ton of damage even on Grandmaster though, so it's not that bad. Number 15, Sutaban Alpha. On Grandmaster mode, I'm dead. The regular ones of these guys were making me go through like 4 or 5 stims a piece because their attack patterns are so wacky and the rhythm is just so hard to pin down. On Master mode, when my parries actually work, piece of cake. I'll fight 3 in a row with no heals. Bet. So it's hard to judge when the difficulty discrepancy is so vast, so I'll just put them here in the middle. Number 14, D-Lit. This is basically just a regular enemy ranking at this point. These dudes are plentiful on the last couple planets, but as a boss, it's only annoying because once you slice off both of its arms, it's just non-stop, unblockable stomps all day long with no wind-up time and little cooldown. Dodging never seemed to work for me here. I had to have enough time to jump away, come back with an aerial hit, and then jump away again because he'll just keep stomping. Number 13, Golden Skriton. Bet you'd fetch a high price for this thing. No Marin this time. She sees you going into its lair and she's like, I'm out. And Cal's like, you're not coming? And she's like, this is something you have to do yourself. Why? You killed the last one with me. Are you afraid of gold? And for some reason, we're not even mad at her afterwards. I don't get it. This one has a breakable claw if you hit it enough times, but is otherwise more aggressive and probably a nightmare on Grandmaster, but I was on Master here. Number 12, Urgost Fist of Ravis. I absolutely despise these hammer dudes. Of all the humanoid recycled enemies in this game, I dread these the most. Their AoEs feel undodgeable and they're certainly unblockable. It's also hard to differentiate between when he's doing an AoE slam with the circular radius and when he's doing a shockwave slam that shoots forward, because they look exactly the same and require different reactions. This particular boss did virtually none of his AoEs during the fight, and it was my first attempt, so I consider myself lucky, but am still placing him relatively high for posterity. Number 11, Darth Vader. The man, the Sith, the legend. Darth Vader invades Seer's archive, and we must control her to bring about his end, although that is not what happens. This fight is half battle, half cutscene, as every time you do like 6 hits to him, the game's like, alright, you suck, we'll take it from here. But Vader sucks too. The first 2/3 of the encounter feels like he's just apathetically swiping here and there. It's not until he gets lit on fire and sent straight to hell that he starts turning up the heat. On fire, Darth Vader is decidedly more motivated than non-fire Darth Vader, and his attacks get more dangerous, interspersed with deadly grabs. I hate when games do this, but once you win, it turns out you lose. Like, you can be over here beating ass, and then the game says, time out, and fucks you. Seer leaps at an injured Vader, but her blade goes under his arm, while his blade goes right through her chest, and she can't believe it either. She's just standing there like she got deactivated until she finally falls over. No fair, dude. I get that you canonically can't kill Darth Vader, but I earned a victory, damn it. Number 10, Kili Oso. This bounty hunter stands out a bit because he surrounds himself with an army of other bounty hunters who all want to take pot shots at me and run my ass over with their shields 24/7. It's super annoying. He himself is a pushover, and I definitely use crossguard here to thin the hail of bullets flying at me, plus it's good against shield dudes. But there's just so much chaos that you can get swarmed trying to heal. The centered perk is a godsend in these kinds of situations, and also any situation. It lets you tank a hit while you're healing without getting interrupted, and it staggers anyone who's close to you. You get it guaranteed at some point during the Shattered Moon main quest, either after beating Ravis or Dagon Gera again, I think. Number 9, Cage. I just want to say I knew it, and I was so pleased when it was confirmed. I already wanted to kill her anyway, after she apparently can't call me on the damn phone to tell me where all these bounty hunter locations are, got me flying all over the galaxy, ping-ponging between Jeddah and Kobo, Shattered Moon and Kobo, Coruscant and Kobo, because I have to tell this bitch in person every time I take one out for her to tell me where one other one is. I almost said screw it and didn't bother finishing the bounty hunters, but I'm glad I did, because not only do you get a Cage match, you get a Boba Fett cameo as he comes to haul her away. I would say this fight is either easy or hard, depending on how far away you are from her. If you get in the dual stance rhythm and keep chasing her down after breaking her block, you probably won't even get hit. But if she escapes and gets some breathing room, you're getting camped the fuck out. Her blasters have infinite ammo, and there's some unblockables in there that can definitely keep you knocked back. But at the end, you get to see her tied up while Boba Fett works on bringing in his bounty, so that's a win on top of a win. Number 8, Dagon Gera 2. He's still got one arm, but now he's got 2 blades. The best advantage you can hope for is when he throws his lightsaber around him like a hula hoop, because if you parry it, it still breaks a large chunk of his block. Otherwise, his unblockables have really varied timings, but it's usually either immediate or slow enough that if you reacted to the red glow by dodging, you have time to dodge again. But you know the drill, thoughtful spamming. Number 7, Rancor. Okay, who decided it was okay to put this dude in an immediately accessible area of Kobo? I tried to fight the Rancor like 3 hours into the game, got one shot 8 times in a row, and I said, oh okay, I probably just shouldn't be here yet. I came back 10 hours later with 5 health upgrades, ran down there, and got one shot several times in a row again. Grandmaster difficulty is stupid, but after too much struggling, I did manage to beat him on it, after refining my strategy to only getting hit by the attacks that did 95% of my health instead of 100, and wasting 2 stims per hit. If you miss one parry, your block is probably getting broken. He's got stomp attacks that don't glow red but are still unblockable, so he's also a cheater, and this is just the kind of difficulty I hate. Even Dark Souls isn't going to have people one-shot you unless you're under-leveled or it's a really specific attack. Master Mode is challenging and still super fun, so that's the one I recommend if you want to sweat without drowning in it. Number 6, triple fights. There's 2 triple fights I found, one with 3 raiders and one with 3 bounty hunters, and they're both about the same curve. Not too bad on Master, and probably impossible on Grandmaster. Again, the centered perk will save your life multiple times per encounter. If people are breathing down your neck, pop a stim and they'll be like, whoa, and get staggered backwards. Definitely best to try and kill one at a time, but they probably won't make that easy for you. Number 5, Ravis. This is the fight that made me switch off of Grandmaster permanently. First phase, I was in there. After 5 or 6 tries, I could almost no-hit him. But the second phase, this man does like 6 or 7 hit combos, and if your parries aren't frame perfect, your block is getting destroyed, and then you're gonna get stun locked. This is the only boss that has 2 full health bars, and he makes good use of them. I died a dozen or so times, switched to Master Mode, beat him the next try with barely any complications, and it is all thanks to the increased parry window saving my block meter from the death grip of Hades. The sense of elation I felt after switching, the sheer burden that had lifted off my shoulders, it was euphoric. I went outside and started noticing nature again. I touched grass for the first time in what felt like years, and I wept. Anyway, all his unblockables can be dodged by dodging left at the right time, and you just have to parry like a god to get anywhere. Number 4, Bode. I knew this one too, right from the start. I thought he'd be revealed a lot sooner, but still, he seemed real eager to prove himself even though he didn't seem like the kind of guy who would be. Asking for trust-based validation, very manipulative. If you went back and watched his early scenes on Coruscant again, you could see the undertones present, which is good acting and writing. Anyway, fuck this guy. He used the Force on his own daughter and pushed her away both literally and figuratively. Also, there was no reason for him to kill Cordova. Cordova's like, "You don't have to do this," and he is absolutely correct. Killing him didn't do anything for you. You stole the compass anyway. It was like if someone took a hostage, went, "Don't come any closer," and then just shot the hostage in front of everyone like, "Alright, I'm leaving now, don't follow me." Why does he fight so low to the ground? Does he think he's a ninja? He's crawling towards you trying to cut your ankles off. I don't like it. I beat him first try on Master Mode, but it took 7 stims. He's got a lot of attacks, but the response to them is often the same, like same parry timing or same dodge direction. If I was a Jedi, I would never turn to the dark side simply because it severely limits the amount of colors your lightsaber can be. Number 3, Dagon Gera III. Okay, apparently this guy was sick of all my arm jokes, so he literally used the Force to create a replacement arm for himself, and I did not know you could do that. I would rate Dagon Gera harder than Bode, specifically because of the part where he summons clones to attack, creating kind of a multi-boss fight and just tripling the likelihood that you'll catch a stray hit, especially considering Grandmaster Mode, where that would be a lot more devastating. You can dispel the clones in one hit HP-wise, but if they're blocking, you have to break through the block meter first, which is time-consuming when 2 other entities are trying to slice you up. I do believe Dagon would beat Bode in a true 1v1 Jedi versus Jedi fight. Dagon's got more mystical, mind-bending stuff to work with, while Bode just kind of shits grenades. Number 2, Spawn of Ogdo. That's so gross to have Spawn in your name. It makes it sound like you're just a fully grown sperm. Ogdo's son is back for revenge, and boy did he get it so many times. Maybe my most attempted boss, and the sad part is I couldn't even beat it on Master Mode. Listen, he has one attack that isn't unblockable. One. And 4 different ones that are unblockable. You want me to keep track of 4 different unblockable attacks where 2 are fast and 2 are slow? I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna have to fuck that up. This guy does stupid damage, even on Master Mode. On Grandmaster, forget it. You're getting one-shot by half the moves, no matter how much health you have. After you do his first third of HP, he introduces his tongue to the mix, like we were all begging for it, and gains an unblockable Yoshi-style tongue grab that lingers forever. I've jumped over that tongue before, double jumped, and then tried to land on his head with an aerial blow, only to still get grabbed by the tongue as it just sits there, active. It's bullshit. Hopefully Son of Ogdo never had any spawn of his own, because this family line deserves to be wiped out. Number 1, Double Rancor. Oh, what the hell, man? Why would you do this? Who hurt you, Respawn Entertainment? Nobody orders the Rancor and then asks for seconds, not a single person. You know what you do in the face of this level of manufactured adversity? Go right into the options menu and change the difficulty to story mode. Yeah, I did it. 100% parry timing. That means if I'm blocking, I'm parrying. 0 enemy damage or aggression. That means all the enemies have accepted their deaths and will only minimally fight back, and even when they do, I'm made out of titanium alloy, and even a Rancor stomp can't put a dent. I do this in direct defiance of your horrendously unfair challenge. Let that be a lesson to all developers out there. If you make bullshit, I will skirt it like a Japanese schoolgirl and retain my dignity. But that's the end of the boss ranking. I think Jedi Survivor is a terrific game, despite whatever I may have complained about. If there's any bosses I missed, I hope they weren't Malenia. But that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Watch all my other videos with your pants up and your shirts down, and I'll see you guys next time.